And this is a guy who's so intimidating, so powerful, so like just sitting across from him, you just feel kind of like,
The Michael Jordan line. You want to make him this offer you're talking about? Damn well better have a Michael Jordan line.
We should call it Air Jordan.
I got sober when I was younger, in 2001.
Ben Affleck's career has spanned decades, genres, and tabloid headlines. Yet through all the roles, rewrites, and red carpets, a less frequently explored part of his journey lies in the actors he holds in high regard. These are not passing name drops or throwaway nods on the award circuit, but enduring relationships and artistic loyalties that speak volumes about Affleck's own understanding of craft. For an actor and filmmaker who has been scrutinized, celebrated, dismissed, and redeemed, often in the same week.
Stream in one of your photos?
Yes, that's my home. That's where I live.
Oh, permanently?
Well, as long as I'm alive. Eventually, this body will be a corpse.
Affleck's preferences in his peers offer a revealing window into what he truly values. From lifelong collaborators and family-like friendships to the imposing gravitas of seasoned veterans, Affleck's appreciation forms a quietly coherent ethos. He admires dedication over drama, precision over posture, and soulfulness over spectacle. It is a selective club, if not by design, then certainly by depth, and it tells a story of someone more attuned to the finer details of performance than his public image often allows.
We met, I think, when I was 10 and you were 8.
Yeah, so more than 40 years.
Really started hanging out in high school.
He wouldn't hang out with me until then.
Once Ben had made a name for himself in local television.
He tried to ride my coattails, and he's been doing it ever since.
The story of Ben Affleck's career can never be told without Matt Damon. They grew up together in Cambridge, Massachusetts. They struggled together in Los Angeles. They wrote Good Will Hunting in shared apartments and on bedroom floors.
So how's your lady? She's gone. Gone where? Med school?
And they won an Oscar for it at 27. But far from an adolescent dream come true, that victory was just the beginning of a working relationship forged not only by talent, but mutual trust. Affleck frequently references Damon as a touchstone, not just as a friend, but as a benchmark. He's the most consistent actor I know, Affleck once said in an interview with GQ. He shows up prepared every single time, and it's never about ego with him, it's always about the work. When Damon's chiseled torso recently trended online thanks to behind-the-scenes stills from the upcoming The Odyssey, directed by Christopher Nolan, Affleck couldn't resist a wry smile. "He does look pretty good," he joked on Jimmy Kimmel Live. "I'm kind of impressed, but if I had known all it took to trend was to take my shirt off, I would have done it years ago." The banter may be typical of their long-standing rapport, but beneath the jokes is a reverence that rarely slips. Affleck sees in Damon a version of the artist he wants to be, committed, thoughtful, and always game to interrogate the human condition. There was something almost celestial about Robin Williams, and Affleck has never shied away from expressing the weight of that experience. When Good Will Hunting was released in 1997, it was Williams, then at the height of his powers, who gave the film its emotional core. And for two young screenwriters, both overwhelmed and overawed, his presence became an unspoken lesson in grace under pressure. Robin was the heart of that movie, Affleck recalled in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. He didn't just show up and deliver lines, he gave us permission to be vulnerable, and he carried the emotional burden so we didn't have to fake it. Williams's warmth was well documented, but Affleck is keen to emphasize the discipline that lay beneath it. He was generous, but he was also incredibly exacting, he said. Every take was different. Every line had a new texture. You could feel him trying to make something real every single time. It is telling that in a film that would make Affleck and Damon household names, the scene most often cited as transcendent is the park bench monologue delivered by Williams. It's a moment that has become part of modern cinematic lore, and Affleck has said it was the day he learned what real acting looked like.
I thought about what you said to me the other day, about my painting. I stayed up half the night thinking about it.
Public fascination with Affleck and Jennifer Lopez has waxed and waned with the same fervor as their relationship itself. The Bennifer saga has at times overshadowed their work, reducing two formidable professionals into the stuff of glossy cover stories. But when Affleck speaks about Lopez, it is clear that the admiration cuts deeper than the headlines. "She's the hardest working person I've ever met," he told the New York Times, "bar none. I've never seen someone be that disciplined, that focused, that relentless about getting better." That is no idle compliment. Lopez's transition from dancer to singer to global film star has involved more reinventions than most artists manage in a lifetime.
He said she smelled like chocolate chip cookies.
Goodbye.
I'm just quoting his email.
You don't have to. Okay? Because it's burned in my mind.
Affleck respects the graft, not the glamour. "People don't realize how much effort she puts into her career," he continued. "She's the first one on set and the last to leave. She's rehearsing when nobody's watching. She's thinking about the next 3 steps while most people are still tying their laces." Their 2022 marriage, nearly 2 decades after their first engagement ended, came not just with personal fulfillment, but a professional resurgence. "We're older now," Affleck said, "but I think we appreciate each other more as artists than we ever could have in our 20s. When Michael Jordan agreed to let Ben Affleck direct a film about his mother's influence on his career, he had one condition: Biola Davis must play her. Affleck agreed instantly. "I didn't even have to think about it," he said in an interview with Entertainment Weekly. "If Michael says she's the only one who can play his mum, then she's the only one who can play his mum." Working with Davis on air left a lasting impression. "She brings so much integrity to everything she does," Affleck said. "She's not just playing the part, she's building an entire world within it. She can hold a frame just by sitting still, and not many actors can do that."
Michael will get a percentage of the revenue of the sale of each shoe that is sold, and all future Air Jordan shoes. A shoe is just a shoe, until my son steps into it.
Affleck, who often functions as both director and actor on set, admires those who understand the camera's intimacy. "She's got theatre chops, of course," he said, "but she also knows how to dial it down for film. It's like watching someone sculpt emotion in real time." Davis's performance was widely praised, and Affleck remains effusive about her impact on the project. "The film simply wouldn't have worked without her, full stop." Affleck was a relatively new director when he cast Pete Postlethwaite in The Town.
Went on, I think my guys can handle it without me. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't hire them without you. And I wouldn't hire you without them. You're a unit.
The decision was not a commercial one. Postlethwaite was a character actor, not a marquee name, but Affleck knew exactly what he wanted: gravitas, precision, and above all, truth. Pete had this way of delivering menace without raising his voice, Affleck told Vanity Fair. He could walk into a scene and suddenly everything changed. You believed he was dangerous because he didn't need to prove it. Postlethwaite's turn as a sinister florist-cum-crime boss became one of the film's standout performances. He would rehearse his lines again and again, tweaking tiny inflections. Affleck remembered. He made you want to step up your game just by being there. The performance took on additional poignancy after Postlethwaite's death in 2011. "I feel honored to have worked with him," Affleck said. "He was a master, and I learned more in those few weeks than I did in some whole productions." Affleck's admiration for Christopher Walken is a mix of awe and curiosity. They worked together early in Affleck's career, and Walken left a lasting impression, not necessarily for his eccentric line readings, but for his commitment to the craft. "Walken is one of those guys who makes acting look like jazz," Affleck said in an interview with Backstage. "You never know what he's going to do, but it's always grounded in something real." Affleck appreciated Walken's ability to straddle the surreal and the sincere. "He's weird, but he's never fake," he said. "He can deliver the strangest sentence with absolute conviction, and suddenly it doesn't sound strange anymore." The experience taught Affleck a valuable lesson. Acting is not about control, but rhythm. "You can't choreograph it too much," he said. "Walken showed me that the best performances are like conversations you didn't know you were going to have." There is no common aesthetic between these 6 actors. Damon is the consummate everyman. Williams was the empathic chameleon. Lopez is the indefatigable performer. Davis commands. Postlethwaite whispers authority. Walken flirts with chaos. But each, in their own way, represents something Affleck prizes: authenticity, discipline, and the ability to lose oneself in the work. For a man who has spent much of his career in the glare of public fascination, Affleck's private ideals speak to a different kind of legacy, one that isn't defined by box office receipts or magazine covers, but by the caliber of people he chooses to learn from. And perhaps that is the clearest indicator of his journey, from Hollywood starlet to thoughtful filmmaker, from tabloid punchline to Oscar-winning director. For all his missteps, Affleck remains, at heart, a student of acting, and the actors he admires most are, tellingly, the ones who never stop learning.